Victime Paschali laudes, imorem Christiani, agnus redemido ves, Christus innocens Patri, reconciliavi peccatore, Mose vita duello, complicere mirando, tu fite mortus, legna vivum, di nobis Maria, cui vidisti impia, sepulcrum Christi viventi, et gloriam vidi resurgenti, angelicos testes, sudarium efestes, sullexi Christus mes mea, precede suus in Galilea, scimus Christum sullexis se, amor tuis fere, tu nobis victores, miserere.
Welcome back to Steps Along the Way. Here we are, taking another step toward the Holy Cross by reading and examining and learning from the Gospel according to St. Mark. For centuries upon centuries, the Gospel according to St. Matthew was considered to be the first of the four Gospels to be written. But more recent scholarship points to the priority of the Gospel according to St. Mark. Although there still are some scholars who make the case for the St. Matthew priority. The arguments in favor of the priority of St. Mark are twofold. First, it is the shortest, most concise of all the Gospels, and as any honest fisherman will confess, the more a story is repeated, the longer the story becomes. Second, there exist diagrams of the Gospels, like this one, which clearly demonstrate that the Gospel according to St. Mark was a source for the Gospels according to St. Matthew and St. Luke. Both of those latter Gospels contain virtually all of what we call the Markan material, the stories of St. Mark. So have you ever wondered why there is no Gospel according to St. Peter, but only two brief letters written by St. Peter, especially since he was the leader of the disciples? Well, you may have his very gospel in front of you. For the ancient tradition is that St. Mark was the scribe of St. Peter. We have no proof of that tradition, but on the other hand, we have nothing disproving it either. So what does it hurt to accept it as fact? Now, to begin this study, I'd like to begin at the end. Many good stories use this narrative device called prolepsis. Stories like Forrest Gump, Gandhi, and Saving Private Ryan. So let us now turn to the Gospel according to St. Mark, the 16th chapter, verses 1 through 8.
When the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint Jesus. Very early on the first day of the week, they went to the tomb when the sun had risen. They were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the door of the tomb?" Looking up, they saw that the stone was rolled back. It was very large. Entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, dressed in a white robe. They were alarmed. He said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him as he told you." They went and fled from the tomb, for trembling and astonishment had come upon them. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid.
Biblical scholars are in agreement that this is the original ending of the gospel, the so-called short ending. Those same biblical scholars suspect that the abrupt ending is the cause of verses 9 through 20 being added. However, they were not added until the 2nd century. In other words, somewhere between the years 100 and 200. Furthermore, if we examine those 12 verses, you will perceive that they contain information found in both the Gospels according to Saints Matthew and John, which seems simply to be added to reconcile the different accounts. But what if verse 8 is, in fact, the conclusion of chapter 16? And what if then, immediately, we read chapter 1, verse 1?
They went and fled from the tomb, for trembling and astonishment had come upon them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. The beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God.
If that is the case, and I believe that a good case can be made for it, then we have what is known as a circular story. That the trembling, astonishment, and fear of the 3 women was the genesis, the very beginning of the good news of Jesus Christ. For now they, and the ones to whom they ran, now they all knew that Jesus had risen from the dead. And that is the great good news. Now, allow me to backtrack a bit to explain this business about shorter endings and longer endings. You know that the printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg around 1450. Until that time, every single piece of writing was copied by hand. Mistakes were made, lines were accidentally skipped, omissions happened, and comments were added. even in the copies of the various books of the Bible, although the latter were usually in the margins and thus called marginalia. And of course, the copies were not all made from the original writing. Many were copies of copies. So the various documents which the world contains are known as codices, which, not surprisingly, is the Latin word for books. As you might guess, some codices are more accurate copies than others. We know this because the more codices which we have which agree with each other, the more we can be assured of their accuracy. Thus, through the scholarly pursuit of paleography, we now have a compendium of codices which we know are trustworthy, and another compendium of codices which are somewhat more suspect. To bring this important tangent to a close, it is the trustworthy codices which inform us that the shorter ending of the Gospel according to St. Mark is most likely the accurate ending. Now, returning to the Gospel itself, the other important initial detail is that although it is marked in our Bibles as verse 1, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is the title as well. Furthermore, we must always, and I mean always, understand the meaning of the word gospel. The word is an English compound word composed of the words God's and spell. It comes from the Greek word euangelion, which is also a compound word composed of eu, meaning good, and angelion, meaning news. If we transform angelion into English letters, we will see another word which we know well: angel. An angel is not, as contemporary culture would have us believe, a winged celestial creature. An angel is simply a messenger. Even today in Greece and in that language, one who delivers messages is an angelon. Therefore, euangelion is God's spell. It is good news, specifically the good news of Jesus Christ. The good news that the Lord became incarnate to walk among us, that he came to forgive us and heal us and bring us peace and great joy, that he came to die for us so that we can live with him forever, and most importantly, that he has risen from the dead. Death no longer has dominion over him, nor over us. Thus, that is the beginning of the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. So welcome back to Steps Along the Way. Here we are at the beginning of the gospel according to St. Mark. Next time, we'll begin delving into chapter 1 in its entirety. Walk along with us as we make our way to the cross of Jesus Christ. Keep reading, keep praying, and may the peace of the Lord be with you all.